ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति all reasoning happens in a circle. The moment the emotions overpower, reasoning starts going in a circle. Meaning, emotion will tell you you are right already, and then reasoning will have to come and support how you are right. Again, I repeat, emotions, reasoning always goes in a circle. That's why they say don't reason in a circle. Now, when do you reason in a circle? Emotions overpower. When emotions overpowers, the very emotion has convinced you that you are right. What you are saying is right, what you are doing is right, what you have chosen is right. The emotion has already convinced you that it is right. Now, all that you got to do is what? Give some reasonings to support it. This is called reasoning in a circle. Distinct and different from that is to see the influence of the emotions and not to be a victim of it. Distinct and different from that is you see the play of the emotions on you and you don't be a victim of it. This is the dilemma. Always the human dilemma is emotions overpower. When emotions overpower, any choice that you make after that, you will be in pain only. Again, I repeat, the moment emotions overpower you, any choice that you make after that, you will be in pain. Distinct and different from that is to see things uninfluenced by emotions, not influenced by emotions. So intellect means seeing things objectively, not influenced by emotions. The situations that you encounter, the interactions that you have with the world will tend to make you get emotional. It will keep triggering emotions in you. The moment you start interacting with the world, emotions come into play. Once emotions come into play, you will not be reasoning. There will be a debate club in the head. It will be only either you will have a debate club in your head or you will have actual debate with somebody else outside. Ram Subramanian. This is what happens. So you will have either the debate will happen in your head. What nowadays what people call us nowadays, having an inner conversation with oneself. Inner conversation, they are just fighting within oneself. Either you have a debate club within yourself or you will have a debate with somebody outside. Nevertheless, you have become a victim of the emotion. You okay till now? And whenever we talk about emotion, we talk about emotions that affects your neutrality. Whenever we talk about emotions, we talk about emotions that affects your neutrality. Emotion that confuses you. But sir, positive emotions like good emotions are also there, no? Like love. So no one knows what love is in the first place. On earth, unknown. In the Vicar of Wakefield, he says, love is unknown. Nobody knows what love is. The positivity of emotion can come only from neutrality. Only when you are neutral, objective, witnessing, positive emotions can come. Otherwise, positive emotions cannot come. You cannot cultivate emotions from one extreme to the other extreme. That's what people say, start loving. How can you start loving? You cannot unless you come to the neutral point, unless you come to the witnessing point, unless you come to an objective point. Positive emotions can never come out, or whatever you call as positive emotions after that will not be really positive at all. You may call it as positive. Just because you call it as positive doesn't mean it is positive. Are you able to follow? We always reason in circles. Reasoning in circle means decisions are made first and reason supports it. That is called reasoning in circles. Very difficult to take a neutral point and think about anything. If you take a neutral point and think about anything, what will happen? If you take a neutral point and think about anything, what will happen? Truth will come. If you take a neutral point and think, the truth will come. What is the truth? Futility of everything. Nothing is, everything becomes futile. That's why they say don't think too much. You know, people generally say, they will say, if you start thinking too much, you will have, because thinking exposes the truth. What is the truth? It is thinking exposes the futility of everything. That's why we are always scared about objectively thinking, because that thinking exposes the futility. If you take a neutral point and think about anything, that's why anybody else's problem, you are taking a neutral stance and looking at it, it looks so futile, it looks so meaningless. You will say, why are you suffering for this so much? Yeah, where there is no problem at all, why are you unnecessarily? What makes you to see the futility in that? Because you are able to take a objective stance. Since you are able to take an objective stance and look at it, you are able to understand the futility of anything and everything. But if something is troubling you, if something is agitating you, if something is disturbing you, it means what? You got involved. Okay. Ram Subramanian, are you okay till now? Huh? Class moving more 8:20, don't irritate me asking questions. Yeah, I'm trying to close the class at 8:20 and then only he will start. I'm closing, he will wake up. Now that's why I'm saying, no, don't ask anything at 8:20. 8:19 you ask. You follow? The very disturbances implies that you have lost the neutrality. Because if you take a neutral point and look at anything and everything in life, thinking exposes the futility. Always remember it as a law. Thinking exposes the futility. That's why when you talk about the futility of anything, the other gets very irritated at you. When you say it is all futile, there's there's nothing, you will get very irritated. Why? Because when you said the same thing yesterday, that person was very much affected. Are you able to follow? It means everybody gets emotional. Everybody gets emotional. And whenever we talk about emotional, understand we are never talking about the whatever people call as positivity in emotion. Positivity in emotion comes only from an objective standpoint. If you are not objective, if you are not neutral, you can never reason rightly. Okay, a simple example is, generally we always talk about the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law problem. Proverbially we take. You know why? So easy to communicate how the neutrality is lost. Very difficult for the mother-in-law to love the daughter-in-law. Why? First of all, you understand that? No, it's very difficult. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Take care of her. It's keeping you insane. Why it is so difficult for the mother-in-law to love the daughter-in-law? Experience. Yeah, experience. Correct. The mother has done the entire investment on the son. Possessiveness, attachment. Suddenly someone comes and takes over. Suddenly overnight someone comes and say, from this day onwards, is mine to her. How can anybody accept it? If she has a maturity to accept it and move aside, she has love. Because she has understood the truths about life. Life means to grow. Life means all this. It means there is that love. When that love will come? Only when she can look at it objectively and move aside. Are you able to follow? It's very difficult to do that. It's almost impossible to do that. Why? Because the entire possessiveness. At the core, a man is a man, a woman is a woman. Another mask, whatever mask they put outside as son, husband, Allah, all these are all at the core. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's how they will behave. Now, growth means what? Growth, intellect means what? First they can come to the neutral position. From the neutral position, they can look at it. And from the neutral position, when they look at it, they will be able to take the right. They will be able to take the right. They will be able to make the right choice. They will be able to make the right decision. Distinct and different from that is reasoning in circles. Are you able to follow? But if I see adharma happening around me, sir, if I see adharma happening around me, have you ever seen dharma at any point of time? Have you ever seen dharma at any point of time in anybody other than you? That's why anybody talks about this morality, all that, it's all just talk. It makes no sense at all. Why? Because you see, you see dharma exclusively only in yourself. And by default, everybody else is adharmic only. Yeah. Even in Lord Krishna, you can see adharma. Even in Lord Rama, you can see adharma. But you stand in front of the mirror, dharma personified, isn't it? And that person decides who is right, who is wrong. So if adharma things happen in the world around, if adharma things happens in the world around, what do I do? Those positive emotions are good, no? Wanting to set it right is good, no? Wanting to punish them is right, no? Ram Subramanian. I'm answering your question only. Huh? Adharma and all is happening around us. In that situation, it is right for us to get affected and correct. If you are a neutral, objective person, what is the first question? If you are thinking rightly, what is the first question? For me to call it as adharma, for me to call it as unrighteous, for me to call it as sinful, am I above sin? First question. Am I above sin? If I am not above sin, all that I have to do is ensure, looking at that, you ensure that you will not do it. I'm talking from a seeker's angle. From a policeman angle, from the Dharma Shastra angle, obviously there is punishment, there is law, there is all that. But in this classroom, I don't take that stance. We are not talking in this classroom, I don't take the Dharma Shastra angle of deciding who's right, who is wrong, who is moral, who is immoral. First of all, am I above sin? Yes or no? No, sir, that sin. I have not made that sin, but some other sin is okay. But not, doesn't really matter. Sin is, are you able to follow? From the seeker's standpoint, first question, am I above sin? The moment you become above sin, what will come out of you against adharma? Empathy will come, not anger and frustration and irritation. Empathy will come. You follow? If you take a moralist angle, that's what emotional is all about. Emotion means you become a moralist, because you have decided good and bad and you want to side with what is good. But sir, in society, if somebody does bad, what will I do? He thought he gave a beautiful example and I got stumped by that example. The example is what? 40-year-old man abusing a 3-year-old. In those situations, what I should do? All that you have to do is, first thing, you can tell yourself that I will not sin. Number 2, how I view the sinner. How I see the sinner. I am seeing the sinner. How I see the sinner. In Vedanta, that's why Vedanta is very difficult. People misunderstand Vedanta missed moralist. Moralist and Vedanta are not one and the same. Vedanta is about neutrality, objectivity, Sakshi Bhava. Vedanta is not about getting involved in right and wrong. Vedanta is about neutrality and Sakshi Bhava. So from that perspective, how would you see it? If it is your obligation means if there is a direct transaction in that environment with the two parties, you have to get involved. If there is no direct involvement, what you have to do? What you have to do? What do you have to do? See the law effectively functioning. You can see the law effectively functioning. Because we are so emotional, already we are so blinded to see the law not functioning. You follow? See, but then you are already emotional. The very situation that you brought in itself, you have lost the neutrality. That's why this example itself is a redundant example. Because there's no neutrality in that example itself. Because the example itself, there is a involvement. What is the involvement? You have already decided what? A 40-year-old man should not. 40-year-old man should not abuse 3-year-old person. Who decided that? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not supporting it. Are you the judge to decide that? Is Supreme Court the judge to decide that? Who's to decide that? Who's to decide that? The Supreme Court? CJI. CJI decide பண்ணுவாரா? Who's to decide that? There is the law. There is the divine law called karma. Neutrality comes when you have a conviction in the law, and when you have developed neutrality and when you have conviction in the law, you can see how clearly the law is functioning. Right now you cannot see it. Right now you cannot see it. You will get agitated by it. You will get disturbed by it. What can be done? Nothing can be done. Are you able to follow? You cannot see it now. You cannot see the law. Why you cannot see the law? Because you are already involved. What is the involvement? What is the involvement? One person is innocent. Another person is. One person is innocent. Another person is perpetrator. Yeah. You have already decided. One is innocent. Another is perpetrator. And if you see the law, the moment you become neutrality, how you will see it, what will you see? That cannot be explained. Ya pashyati, pashyati. Can be explained, but you will not have the courage to swallow it. Therefore, ya pashyati, saf pashyati. Are you able to follow? Answer acha. We are not discussing it from the moralist angle at all in this classroom. Inside the classroom, outside the classroom, doesn't matter. We don't discuss it from the angle of a moralist. Because morality means a clear division of right and wrong. Morality means you have already predetermined. This is right, this is wrong. You know, the right and wrong is sheerly conditioned by what you call as right and wrong is conditioned by. You have never thought about anything independently to decide what is right, what is wrong. Have you ever thought about sin separately? Nobody does, because it is already clear that what is right, what is wrong. Why do we even have to do this? It is already clear. No, that which I know already, why do I have to think about it? You follow? Is adultery wrong? Is stealing wrong? Is uttering a lie wrong? Yes or no? Why only this? Lies, adultery, promiscuous, promiscuous. No, it's about adultery is. I think they use the word promiscuous, isn't it? Is it right? Conditioning. Just the conditioning. Ranjini will say, if you smell garlic itself, you are sinned. Ravindran, you know who's that great Mahatma Ranjini? Huh? You know who's Ranjini? You know who's Ranjini? Yaar? Huh? Yeah, my wife will. Great Mahatma she is. In her eyes, I am a sinner because I eat garlic sometimes. Now, what is the deciding factor? How do you even decide these issues? First of all, is there a thing like this to even get into a dilemma? Seeker has no time for all this. A person who doesn't have anything to do in life will waste their time in these morality angles and all that. A person who has a seeker will have no time to get into this. Why? Because it's all the play of the mind. That's all. You follow? It's the play of the mind. So, oh, does it mean anything and everything becomes right? That is not what is said. It's only saying that if you are calling something as sin, wrong, who is the yardstick? From where you got that? From where you got this understanding? In everybody's head, there is a collective. Remember that. In everybody's head, there is a collective. And always there is a conflict between that collective in your head versus you. And what is that collective? What is that collective? In the Yarla Irbang on the collective la. Yarla on the collective. There is a collectivity. Everybody has that. You know who all will be in that collective? Little bit of your grandfather, little bit of your grandmother, little bit that you read in Times of India, little bit that you heard in one Nayagan movie, little bit you one dialogue you remember from Godfather movie. Now the collective that you have is a weird combination of all these. It's a weird. So anything that you say, you are not talking anything at all. It is that collective. It is that collective that is talking. Are you able to follow what I'm saying now? A seeker means one who has developed this freedom from the collective mind. Again, a seeker means one who is free from this collection. Otherwise, you are only mechanically verbatim repeating what the collective is. You can see a little bit of your father in that. You can see a little bit of your mother in that. You can see a little bit of your friend in that. You can see a little bit of your enemy in that. Yeah. Inigo keta kada kalakshepam story one irukum adilla. It will be a weird mixture of all these where none of it is processed or understood rightly. Just a collection. You go on collecting it. That collection is what I am talking as. The seeker should not be a victim of this collective mind. Are you able to follow? Seeker means not a victim of collective mind. Seeker means one who has a firm conviction in the law. If assuming that it is wrong, there is a law that it is going, that's a law that is functioning. All that I have to do is what? Not to develop any animosity. Because if I develop an animosity, I have created a loop for myself. Are you able to follow now? As a seeker, what I will be interested in? How not to create these loops again and again and again. Why? Because how many janmas you have been doing the same thing? What has happened? Nothing has happened. Because it is just it is an emotion. That's all. You follow? It is just an emotion which is always a victim of the collective. Therefore, it is very, very important to understand this. So much of, sir, but when people are talking against Hinduism, what I should do? What you have to do when people are talking about talking against Hinduism? What you have to do? First of all, you yourself don't understand what is. Yeah, you yourself don't understand what is Hinduism. Yes, Ram sir. You are still in WhatsApp, Rajkumar? Huh? Irgrara? Take his phone out and break it. Break it. Sir, people are talking so bad about Hinduism, sir. My blood is boiling. So, in turn, what you have to talk against now? It becomes such a vicious, it becomes a vicious cycle. A seeker understands the viciousness of the cycle and wanting to get out. That is why in Bhagavad Gita he says, Punya Punya Vivarjita Pantaha. The path that is beyond the third path, which is beyond Punyam and Apunyam. A path that is beyond these two is what the seeker is. In this classroom, we are interested in that angle. You follow what I'm saying? Are these things happening? Yes, it is happening. What do we do about it? What do we do about it? Long back, I read one story. Long back. It influenced my thinking so much. A very orthodox Brahmin family. From that orthodox Brahmin family, a girl will go to work. A widowed orthodox Brahmin family, no choice. The girl has the girl goes to work, gets completely molested in the office and comes home crying. That old mother, oh, what a climax it is. The old mother says, okay, kulstua. That's all. Shower and come, we will eat. Story is over. You follow? The girl is molested. The mother says, shower and come. That's all. Oh my God. I don't know how many times I have read that portion alone. I used to think what courage that mother should have to say, you didn't do it. You are not a party to that. If you are overpowered, what can you do about it? All that you can do is forget it and don't take it into your head. Are you able to follow? Morality and ethics is that which you take it in your head and the other will move on and you will still be suffering. The Zen parable, beautiful Zen parable. Two boys leave the ashram and go. The condition in that ashram is you are not supposed to talk to a girl. That's the condition. So the two boys come to the marketplace, finish everything. They have to cross the river and come this side. Now, when they came back, the river is flooded and there was a girl that she couldn't cross. So one boy carried her shoulders, crossed the bank and left. As they went to the gate, the second boy said, I have to report about you to the Guru because you violated the law. You violated the rule. So I have to report about you to the Guru. Don't mistake me. The other boy said, I left the girl in the river bank. You are carrying it in your head. Look at that. He said, I left the girl by the river bank. I left. You are the one who is carrying it in your head. Are you able to follow? So this this right and wrong, moral and immoral and all should not be a subject matter of discussion for the seeker. Again, I'm repeating, I'm not talking generally. I'm specifically talking from the angle of a seeker. From the angle of the seeker, don't get involved in this. If you are getting involved in this, you have moved away from the seeker. Why? The path of the seeker is very clear. Punya punya vivarjita pantaha. Isavasya. If ordinary people are in darkness, if ordinary people are in blinding darkness, the so-called moralist is greater than blinding darkness. Actually, yaar thittuno? Upanishad, the Upanishad should garland whom and pray and scold whom? The moralist should be garlanded and these fellows should be scolded, pulled down. But exactly the opposite. Isavasya Upanishad the Isavasya Upanishad finishes off the moralist. You know why? The greater division and the greater hurt that the moralist does, the perpetrator of that crime doesn't do that. The sin that the moralist is going to get is much more severe than actual doing. Why? Because actual doer will regret, will stop. The moralist will go on slaughtering, and he can never ever stop. Able to follow? At least the doer of that sin someday will stop. Why? Because the very law will force him to stop. We all stopped and we are sitting here, no? Correct? The very law will do that. But the law is almost ineffective when it comes to the moralist. Why? Because the stubbornness of the moralist is the stubbornness. Are you able to follow? Because they are so convinced that they are already right. Reasoning in circles. That is called reasoning in circles. It's not only for you. It's for now. The question is answered from the angle of the spiritual seeker. You want to ask question from the political angle, from the moralist angle, right and wrong angle. In this classroom, we don't deal with it in that manner at all. Are you able to follow? Not that we are not saying it, not that I'm agreeing with it as right. Carefully follow. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying as a seeker, you should not be getting involved in these kind of thinking. Why? As a seeker, the goal is punya punya vivarjita. Arjuna is asking in Bhagavad Gita. What is the dilemma of Arjuna? What is the dilemma of Arjuna? See, how can I kill Bhishma? How can I kill Bhishma? Have you ever heard of a son sacrificing for the father's lust? Huh? Bhishma did that. Why he is so great? Because here is a son who sacrificed for the father's lust. Where will you get a human being like that? Where do you get a person like that? Where the son is sacrificing for father's lust. Bhishma did that. Arjuna saying that Bhishma I have to kill. That Bhishma I have to kill. Draupadi will say nonsense. Draupadi will say Bhishma is a sinner. Spineless fellow he is. Who will say that? Draupadi will say that. In the debate la yaar vechukovanga? In the debate la yaar interesting irukum? Non-seeker. Able to follow? Draupadi will come and say, I am saying, where do you get a person who is ready to die for sacrifice for father's lust. No, sir, but Draupadi பண்ணும்போது he stayed quiet. No. It means you are not able to take the goodness in anybody. The moment you say a goodness of any person, immediately you are countering it with, this is the moralist. This is the problem of moralist is this. Are you able to follow? You say a good quality in anybody, immediately that person will find out. A person will highlight the flaw in that character and say, but sir, are you able to follow the problem of a moralist? This is what the whole world does. Like a joke, it has become, no? India wants to know. Nation wants to know. Nation wants to know. In the Indian news channels, Resaji, there is one fellow. Every day, 9 o'clock, he will start shouting. 9 to 10, he will shout on top of the voice. Nation, who's that? Where is that nation? I want to go and ask him. Which nation wants to know? Nation, what is that nation? Who is that nation? Who's asked? And rest of the 3 weeks, they will sit and debate. This fellow will put one post and that fellow will put another post. Trending happens. Go on adding up karma. If a sinner adds up karma, moralist is adding much more karma. That's why as a seeker, we don't want to add up karma. Again, I repeat, if a sinner is adding karma, moralist is adding more karma. Why? Because you are mentally slaughtering that person. Yeah, again and again and again. That's what that fellow said. I left that girl long back. I left that girl long back. You are still carrying it in your head. So, a seeker is very alert. Objectively thinking means a seeker is very alert in not adding up any new karma. A seeker is very alert in understanding not to add up any new karma. Because every additional karma, one janma. Every karma you add up, adu kosram or janma. Yeah, what to do? Yeah. See, the law functions like that. But good karma varumla, sir. Good karma varumla. What is good karma? Example. I have given that example any number of times. Good karma na example for good karma. If you are a moralist, if you have done a lot of good karma, another janma will come to you. What will be that janma like? Example, I have given that example any number of times. I heard that from the Acharya when I was so young. I heard that it stuck in my head so deeply. Sipping tea in Naraka. He said, if you are a moralist and you do a lot of punya karma, you will be a dog in a rich man's house. You will be born as a dog. You are traveling in the bus, Chennai bus. The hot summer afternoon, you are traveling in the bus and you get a window seat. And you sit. You see a car overtaking you. At that time, the window comes down and you see a dog head popping out. At that point of time, you will think, in the polpa and the nai janma nalla irukku. That this is what happens. Na personal onnume nadakadhu. Are you able to follow? A seeker understanding this will not want to get involved in these things. Why? You can get involved. Nothing wrong in getting involved. But then you should be able to accept the consequence. What is the consequence? there is a karma to that. Karma means another janma. Another janma means another potential to get another janma. Every janma is potential to create more and more janma. Very difficult. Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Having gotten this janma, very difficult to ensure that you don't add up any further karmas. Are you able to follow? Therefore, as a spiritual seeker, these kind of never make situations into a moral ethical dilemma. If you have a moral ethical dilemma, that's why I gave that example of that story. Beautiful Tamil story. She's so helpless, that small innocent girl. She's so helpless. Poor guys overpowered her. What can she do? Is she going to commit suicide because of that? How will you help that girl? Okay, you go and punish that foe. We are not interested in punishing that foe. How are you going to help that girl is the seeker? How would you help that girl? Give her a gun and make them shoot all the four? Will that help? In reality, you give a gun to that girl and say shoot all the four. Will she be? No. What is the way to help that girl? You have not sinned, move. You have not sinned, move. But what happens to the sinner? What happens to the sinner? There is a law. There is a law. 10th chapter. Vishwato Mukamnu sollirukkararla. Looking in all the 10 directions. Can anybody escape that? Can anybody escape that? He said, Vishwato Mukam, he said, no, in 10th chapter. Vishwato Mukam means one who is seeing what is happening in all 10 directions. Abdina, can anybody entertain a thought and escape? Even if you have entertained a thought, you cannot escape. What happens if you do it? Are you able to follow? The biggest problem of spirituality is a moralist is misunderstood as a spiritual person. Moralist is different. Spiritual person is different. Who is a spiritual person? A spiritual person means one who is a sakshi. One who is a sakshi means one who is witnessing. Moralist is not a spiritual person. Get this understanding clear, Ram Subramanian. In your head, in everybody's head, moralist is understood as spiritual. Moralist is not a spiritual person. A moralist can become a spiritual person. But only when he's willing to drop his moralistic attitude. Just as a selfish person can become a spiritual person when he is willing to drop his selfish attitude, a moralist can become a spiritual person when he is willing to drop that moralist attitude. Are you able to follow? Therefore, from what angle we look at it? We are looking at it from the angle of a seeker. Why I'm spending a lot of time in this question is not only your problem. It's a problem of everybody. Everybody has this dilemma. Everybody has this doubt. How do we? I gave 3 weeks time also. Why? The annika sollirkalam. Na prepare pannilla varala. Appo 3 varam nalla study illa panni research panni answer. It's not like that. This dilemma is so beautiful a dilemma which opens up as a seeker what you should. As a seeker what you should. As a seeker what you should. As a seeker what you should be interested in. As a seeker you should be interested in nitya naimittika karmas. As a seeker what should be your interest? A seeker's interest is in doing nitya naimittika karmas. Nitya Naimitika karmas for what? For Chitta Shuddhi. Be clear in that formula. Nitya Naimitika karma for what? For self-purification. You can call it self-purification or you can call it self-development. Doesn't matter. Both are one and the same. So a seeker is focused on Nitya Naimitika karma for Chitta Shuddhi. Shuddha means, pure means not contaminated with right and wrong, good and bad. Purity means no contamination. No contamination means no good, no bad. It means you raise yourself above and see it. Not that you are supporting it. Not that you are saying it is right. Not that you are saying those who are doing it is right, forgive them. We are not saying that. Because the very act they have done, the law is not going to forgive them. Carefully follow. The very act, if anybody, if they are doing that act, not if they are doing, if they do that act, the very doing itself has ensured that the law is not going to pardon them. When you know as a seeker, when you know very well that the law is not going to pardon them, why are you unnecessarily creating agitations and karmas for you? Are you able to follow? Huh? How the law will take care, when it will take care, how it will take care, and all is beyond your scope of understanding. That's why it's called Karma Pala Data. Chapter 10, you remember the Sunday class? Karma Pala Data. The result should come to the appropriate person at the appropriate time, at the appropriate place. To that person, it will come. The law is not going to pardon. Since the law is not going to forgive, all that you have to do is what? As a seeker, ensure that you obey the law. Ensure that you obey the law, and wherever there are violations, you only pray that someday they should get good guidance. Someday they should get good guidance. Everyone follow? As I am saying this, I know that not a word of what I said you will agree. ஒரு மணி நேரம் பேசிட்டனால not that you will say but you will start. Everybody will start with the but only. Why? It is very difficult to accept. Because the ego finds a pride in being a moralist. The ego finds a pride in being a moralist. It's a sheer ego thing. It is. Why do I say it is a sheer ego thing? Because there is a law that is anyway that is going to take care, and nobody can go and ask forgiveness from the law, because that law is not going to pardon, forgive. Doesn't matter whoever it is. Whoever it is, the law will not, the law is not going to forgive. But yen kannuku therliye sir. But they are all flourishing. They are all very, very happy. Huh? The moment you think, carefully follow, with this I conclude. The moment you think somebody can do bad and be happy, you are not a seeker. Again, I repeat. The moment you think somebody is doing something bad and they can be happy, it means you are an atheist. You have no conviction in the law. And all the people who think theist, they come and ask this question. What is the question they ask? Yes, sir, because it means you are convinced that you can be good and suffer. Are you able to follow? In your core, you think somebody can be good and they can suffer. Are you able to follow? A person cannot do anything. A bad person cannot A bad person will not be happy. But sir, you are not. First of all, you think you are seeing. Bhajagovindam, he says. How does he start Bhajagovindam? Fool. You think you are seeing? No, you are not. You are not seeing. All these arguments, all this but and if and but sir, this and all is coming from where? You think you are? You think you are seeing. The spiritual seeker is one who has the courage to say, I am not seeing. Because if I see, I will see. What I will see? How the law functions. And what is the law? You can never ever ask this question after that. You will never ever have this notion about life. What? Good person will suffer. நல்லதுக்கே காலம் இல்லை சார், இல்லையா? இப்பெல்லாம் நல்லவங்களாவே இருக்கக்கூடாது சார். If a person is saying that, it means that person is blinded. If a person is saying that a person can be bad and be happy, a person is committing a sin and be happy, you are not seeing it. You are not seeing it rightly at all, because the law is very clear. You follow? Seeing means you can see far ahead. You can't see far ahead. Yeah. Like he always says, you can't see beyond the tip of your nose, he says. You can't see beyond the tip of your nose, you can't see. With that short-sightedness, what dharma, morality, and all that I'm talking about. So it means I should develop that. I should develop that far-sightedness. What is that far-sightedness? Able to penetrate deeper. But our thinking and all is very shallow. Our concerns are shallow. Our affectation is shallow, isn't it? All that it requires is what? Some other thing, that's all. Yeah. Our concerns are also very, very, very shallow. Are you able to follow? Therefore, as a seeker, you understand what? If the law sees it as a sin, that person cannot go, that person cannot escape. Today, the problem is human being wants to decide. The human being wants to decide what is right, what is wrong. Human beings na yaru? Human beings na yaru? 5 judges sit together. 5 judges will sit together and say, Ganesha is a superstition. Does it become right? 7 judges will sit and decide that Ganesha is a superstition. Human body and elephant head itself means there is no such thing called Ganesha at all. So for a non-existing entity called Ganesha, why are you having so much of? Why are you wasting so much of resources in building temples for Ganesha? Use the temple for public interest. Correct? Is it right? Ganesha and Sonna customer, isn't it? Because we are already worried about Ganesha, because Ganesha will come and Ganesha will come and will dreams only, he will haunt you. Are you able to follow? Who's to decide that? What is sin and what is not sin? Who is the deciding authority? Are you the deciding authority? Is collective humanity the deciding authority? No. There is the divine law, which is beyond human. How the law operates, how that law functions, and how that law gives results, we just don't understand. All that you got to do as a seeker is what? Not to get involved in this politics. As a seeker, all that you have to do is what? Not to get involved in this politics. If you are getting involved in this politics, means you are not a, you are getting involved means you are not a seeker. Some more knocks and shocks are required to, become a seeker. Because through knowledge and understanding, I am refusing. Because it's so, becomes the morality is a debate club discussion. School debate club which discuss பண்ணலாம். Morality illa. In life, it doesn't. Life has a different understanding. Are you able to follow? Reasoning in circle. I have already decided it is. I have already decided that action is wrong. I have already decided this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Has anybody transcended by punishment? Has anybody become wise by punishment? If punishment can make a person wise, it's very easy to make a human being wise. Has anybody become wise through punishment? No. What helps the person to transcend? It's the compassion that you show. It's the empathy that you show. Are you able to follow? It means you should have it. The problem is we want to punish. That's why I always say, in all human beings, rendu problem. The policeman and teacher. All human beings has these two in them. They want to be a policeman and they want to be a teacher. Invariably, the one who is committing that sin will be louder. A thief will be afraid of a non-thief or another thief. A thief will be afraid of non-thief or thieving, another thief. So all his protection is from whom? When a thief wants to protect, from whom he wants protection? Another thief only. Follow? Seeker means you ensure that there is a law. Theist means believer in God, means you have that conviction. What is the conviction? A person cannot do a wrong thing and be blessed and happy. It's impossible. That's the conviction of the seeker. It's impossible for a person to do something wrong and be happy. If you are seeing it like that, change your glass. Yeah, change your vision. Change your glasses. The law doesn't change. Your glasses needs to be changed. What? A person doing something wrong cannot be. That's why they say all the thieves to so-called good people come and say that why good people are suffering, sir, and bad people are happy. It means deep in your heart, deep in that person's heart, there is a conviction that you can do a wrong thing and still be happy. That's why this question is coming. Are you able to follow? Very difficult is the law, but you understand it's very easy also. You follow? The question itself is coming from the core where the person is believing that I can do something wrong and still be happy. From where it comes, from where that notion comes, that a person is doing wrong and being very, very happy. From where does that notion come? Deep in you, you have a conviction. What is a conviction? Correct. You can do a mistake and get away with it. You can do something and get away with it. As a seeker, you understand what? As a theist, as a seeker, as a believer in you can call it God, reality, Brahman, doesn't matter. As a believer, as a theist, as a believer in God, as a believer in truth. Satyameva jayate nanritam. Mundakopanishad says truth alone wins. Satyena panta vitato. There he says that path of truth never fails. But our experience says what? Good will suffer, bad will flourish. Abdinna, the Upanishad is அவங்கெல்லாம் சொல்றாங்க சார். பட் ஆனா உபனிஷத் டசன்ட். பாவம் அவங்களுக்குலாம் அவ்வளோ விஷயம், அவங்களுக்குலாம் அவ்வளோ தெரியல. They all don't have that penetrative vision like us, sir. We should change our glasses. What is the glasses? A person cannot do a wrong thing and be happy. A person cannot do a right thing and suffer. A person cannot do a right thing and suffer. A person cannot do a wrong thing and be. In my definition, I will define atheist and theist like this. If at all somebody wants me to define atheist and theist, I will say it's not about believer in God. That doesn't define an atheist or a theist. Theist means one who has a conviction. What? You cannot escape. You do a wrong thing, you cannot escape is the theist. Who's an atheist? A person who believes that I can do something and I can escape that. All that I have to do is what? Go and please that God. That person is an atheist, not a theist. And the whole world believes that person is a theist. Vedanta, Upanishad comes and boldly says, don't cheat yourself like that. Don't misunderstand, don't cheat yourself. You follow? Yes.
So, on the lines of third path beyond Punya and Apunya, so is it correct to understand that liberation is beyond the differentiation of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas?
Yes.
So it is not at Sattva level, but beyond Sattva.
Yes. Yes. Liberation is beyond the Sattva. Liberation is beyond right and wrong. Liberation is not right. Liberation is beyond right and wrong. Liberation is beyond the Sattva. Correct. Or once in a lifetime, you said something right. Ram Subramanian. Huh? Did I answer you? In the Mari Kelkit, don't make me get angry. My BP is rising because of your question. Ravi. Okay. Always remember this definition. A theist means one who has the conviction in the law. What is the law? If they have done something in the eye of the law, they can never be happy. Not what you decide as right and wrong. Please understand that. You can't decide what is right. There is that divine law. So a theist means one who is convinced that you entertain a negative thought, the grass under your feet will turn against you, and that will bring your downfall. That fellow is a theist. Atheist means I can do any criminal act and still I will be protected. Huh? By whom? Who will come and protect you? God will come and no. Are you able to follow? Very, very important to have this understanding. As a seeker. As a seeker of truth, the vision is to rise above punya vivarjita pantha, the path that is transcending punya and apunyam. Punya means punyam and apunyam. Punya punyam nu sollumbodhu adu pirikanum. Sanskrit grammar padi sandhi piricha, it will be called as punyam apunyam. Apunyam nu sonna paapam. A path beyond good and bad, right and wrong, moral and immoral. That is the neutral point. So learn to look at life from that neutral point. Then your intellect is not a victim of emotion. Otherwise, your intellect is a victim of emotion. Seriya? Are you okay? Artha varam ide kelvi you will not ask, no? Yes. With this, yes. Hmm. Yes. 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 The right thing. What Aparna is asking is, continuing from where Balasubramaniam left, if I do those kind of things, she's connecting with the beautiful story that they said. You will be born as a piglet. You'll be the Guru caste, you will be born as a piglet. And when they went and when the disciples went to murder the piglet said, I'm very happy being a pig. Leave me alone. I want to be a pig. That karma it has to exhaust. That karma it has to exhaust. Once that karma is exhausted, it will look back. And when it looks back, it will, oh my God, how I have been wasting all the opportunities that has come. That will make a person to transform. Are you able to follow? The question is, what will make the piglet to transform? What will make the piglet to transform? That karma of being a piglet has to get over. As that karma of being a pig is getting over, there is that divine law that wakes you up. It wakes you up. And in a flash, you know how you have wasted this, how you have wasted an opportunity. That awareness is the starting point. That awareness becomes the starting. So what do we do in these classes? By gaining this knowledge and understanding, when that awareness comes, it will not be a spark, it will be a conflagration. All that we are doing in these classes is what? The spark will come one day. When that spark comes, we are ready. We are only readying for that spark. When that spark comes, it will be a conflagration. That conflagration is mumukshatva. You will not want to waste time in any of this drama after that, because you know the law. It's a drama going on. It's a leela. It's a game. It's a sport. You call it leela, you call it mithya. Both are one and the same. It's a leela. It's a mithya. It's a game going on, and such a waste of time to get involved in this. Is it okay, Aparna? The spark will come. When that spark comes, we cannot create the spark. In the classroom, we cannot create that spark. In the classroom, we can only prepare you so that when the spark comes, that's it. When it will come, we don't know. It may come this moment, it may come. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, he's very diplomatically, he says, very soon he will say. A very diplomatic answer he gives, Bhagavad Gita. Like Krishna is a politician, no. Yeah. Ashtavakra will directly say, Nutiro Janma Aumpa, he will say. Ashtavakra will say, 120 Janmas, he will get it. Yeah. Krishna will not say like that. Krishna is he's a very good politician. He'll say, very soon it will happen. Ma Shuchaha. Don't worry. Very soon it will happen. How soon is that soon? God only knows. But you can make it happen fast. The intensity with which you understand these truths, it can happen fast. The intensity with which you have to, that putting your heart and soul into it. The intensity in the knowledge and understanding is what brings the transformation. And what is intensity means? Ramtirtha gives a beautiful example. Intensity means like the bee stinging. It stings, in that stings it dies. Because it gives its entire life in that sting, and it dies. Like that it should. If you do it with that intensity, the spark will come. And the preparation with all the spiritual practices, the karma preparation, nitya naimitya karma, the bhakti, the classes, all that is a preparation for that spark. Spark is yours. The Shastras helps us to prepare for that spark that is going to come. Because they are so clear that it will, that's the divine law. They are so convinced. It will come. How can it not come? It will come. Next week on Radhan challenge. Next week. Either it is today or next Wednesday, we don't. Okay, Parnu? Yeah. We'll continue next week.